Hey, this is Chris with vidsociety.com, and in this video I'm going to do a bCast Suite review for you guys. I'm going to go over all three of these tools that are included in this. These are three separate software products that can be used to create content, turn it into audio, and then upload it to over 20 different podcasting sources for driving traffic, building your list, or just really building your brand. So if you know about what podcasting is, it's really something that I've never been into too much, but I know a lot of people are, and some of these massive marketers, and not just that, but like the Clubhouse and all that, they're really big into podcasting, and it seems like it's only getting bigger and bigger, and it's a great way to keep in touch with your customers and your subscribers. So what I want to do is kind of take you through this software and show you everything about it, how it works, all three tools. Below this video, there will be links that will take you where you can learn more about this product, check out the current pricing, and I'm also going to list the details about the upsells in the description box below, but I'm going to go over those with you also here in just a few moments. So let's go ahead and jump in here. So when you get the bCast Suite, you're going to get access to three different products. One of them is called bContent. Now, if you've ever had access to Content Gorilla, that's pretty much what it is. They've kind of updated a little bit, but it's a great way to take audio from videos, from Creative Commons videos, that you can use and turn it into audio for a podcast. And so that's what bVoice does, is it takes that content from videos that other people's created, and as long as they're Creative Commons, you're fine with that, and it turns it into audio. And I'm going to show you a demo of this here in a minute, and it's really good quality too. And then last is the tool called bCast. And bCast allows you to create your podcast and to distribute it, and as well as even get people to sign up to your email list or subscribe to your RSS feed so they can constantly get all new podcasts that you upload. Now, because these are three separate tools, you are going to be spending more money than what you would with the normal products that gets launched. In fact, this one here, because you're getting three completely different products, I believe it's going to start off at $77. There is an upsell for a pro version, and if you pick up bCast Suite, I'm going to highly recommend you get it because it's going to give you unlimited of everything, which is going to be very important if you do a lot of podcasts. But let's go ahead and jump in here and let me show you each one of these. So first is bContent. And this here is bContent. It's just like Content Gorilla was. What you're going to do is you're going to come over here and you're going to enter a search term based on whatever you want your podcast to be on. So for example, we can do something like crypto. And then under license, you want to make sure you select Creative Commons and click search. And it's going to show you all these Creative Commons videos that you can use and create content on. So let's just say for this one here, it's over an hour long, so there is a lot of content on this one. We can do create post. And by the way, if you get the upsell, okay, so captions aren't available for this video, so this must have just been uploaded. Let me go back and pick a different video. So let's go up here and we'll do a search again for crypto, Creative Commons, do a search. And let's just scroll down here and let's do this one here. We'll just do create post. Actually, this is good. It's a Bitcoin Q&A. And you can see here there is a lot of content. So what you would do is you would come over here and get this content, and you can edit it. You can change any of the content here that you want to. And what you would do is just copy whatever you want. I'm just going to take a small section just so I can demo this for you guys and you know how it works. So I'm just going to take a small section of this, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go into the bVoice app. And the bVoice app, I absolutely love this. It's probably one of the best text-to-speech that I have ever used. And once again, if you purchase the unlimited upsell, you can create as much text-to-speech as you want to. So if you go to get started, you have integrations with Amazon Poly, with Google WaveNet, Microsoft WaveNet. You can create voiceovers using saved voices or speech-to-speech. Now, I'm really surprised by this because I've used Amazon Poly a lot, and I've also used Google, but I've never really used Microsoft, and I cannot believe how much better it is than Google and Amazon. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create one of these using the Microsoft account. But first, you can come up here to presets and view some that's already been set up, and you can use these, and you can see they're all different languages: United States, India, Denmark. It doesn't matter. You can translate everything. You can have different, there's like over, I think, 107 different voices or languages you can use for this. It's crazy. But just to kind of give you an idea here, I'm going to click on play on just a couple of these so you can hear some of these presets.
Paris will shut all bars completely from Tuesday as the French government raises the city's coronavirus alert.
Paris will shut all bars completely from Tuesday as the French government raises the city's coronavirus alert.
This is actually one of my favorite ones. It's probably one of the best that I've ever heard on a text-to-speech app, and this is what we're going to be using when I jump into it and use the content that I copied. But I'll just do a couple more here in a couple different languages.
यह दुनिया कितनी रहस्यमय है, इस बात को almost everyone in the world has heard of the great.
Now you may have heard of this one, Amazon Polly. It's pretty popular, but like I said, the ones up here that has the icon for the Microsoft, they're really good.
Både i film og på de rigtige casinoer. Har du måske set dem?
Okay, so what you would do here is you'd go back to get started, and what I'm going to do is click on Microsoft, and you're going to enter a project name. So for this, I'm just going to type in crypto, and down here you're going to paste in your text that you copied, and down here you're going to select your language. So we have this in English, so I want it read in English. So we can go down here and we can choose if you want like English Australia, they'll have an accent to it. I'm just going to go ahead and choose English United States, and then from there you can also choose your voice. So we can do the guy, male, and click preview.
I would like to put the context of that question in light of what you said before. When certain parties are not quite getting it yet, or even actively working against it in some way, we have already mentioned the banks, but what about the governments?
That sounds so good. They actually pause like you would in between all the periods, in between the quotations, the commas, everything. And then you can also do, we can do like a female.
I would like to put the context of that question in light of what you said before. When certain parties are not quite getting it yet, or even actively working against it in some way, we have already mentioned the banks, but what about the governments?
Okay, so that's just a couple I'm going to do, but there are a lot of different languages you can choose from. And not only that, but if you want to, you can come up here and further edit it based upon how you want words to say, breaks, pitches, speeds, all different kinds of stuff you can do here, but I normally just leave it the way it is because this sounds really good. Now, if you want to, you can convert this to a different language. So if you want to put a podcast in, say, Spanish, you can come over here and you can select Spanish down here. And when you do that and click go, it's going to translate this text to Spanish. And then you can come over to language and you can come down here to Spanish and choose it. And then it's going to also read it in Spanish as the podcast. So this is a really, really great tool. And over here you can see you can also load text from a URL, or you can choose a file to upload. Any way you do it, it sounds great. And then when you're done, you're simply going to click save. Now if I go back to my dashboard, you're going to see the one that I already done here called crypto. Let me go ahead and play it.
Could you explain the concept behind decentralized finance in layman terms and how it is revolutionary in nature? What are the downsides of it? So that the basic concept of...
Okay, so this is what I created before I made this demo video here, and this is what I'm going to use. So what you're going to do now is, since we got our content here from bContent, and then we converted that content to audio, we now have to upload it to create a podcast and then syndicate it out to the podcast sites. And that is what bCast software does. So if we come up here to bCast, you can see where I've already created my podcast. On the front end, the personal version, I believe you only get one podcast. If you get the commercial, which I think is going to start off at $77, you actually get 3 podcasts. But then if you get the upsell, once again, it's unlimited. You can create as many as you want. So this is the one that I created. What you would have to do is simply click on create a podcast. If you already have one on another place uploaded, you can import it. But what normally you're going to do is click on create a podcast, and what it's going to do is it's going to take, oops, let me sign back in here real quick. Okay, what it's going to do is, you go to my settings, you're going to see a page just like this here when you click on create a new podcast. And you're going to give it a title. You're going to give it a URL for your RSS feed. You can add a description, you can add an image, and you have different options here for categories, author, your website, keywords. It's important to add these in there because this helps whenever people are searching for podcasts for yours to show up. You can add more information and details here. You can integrate with email lists, which I haven't done yet. And you can also add tracking IDs. Down here, distribution, it says you have the option to distribute your podcast as either a distribution, which makes it public, all episodes are available to everyone, or if you tick this, it makes it private. So if you select this option, the only people that will see it are the ones who has actual links down here to view it. So I recommend you don't use that. You just leave it on public, and this way anybody or everybody can see it once it's distributed. And then you click on Save Podcast. Now up here you're going to see you can also add different episodes into your podcast. So if we click on this, this is the only one that I have published right now. And if I click on it,
could you explain the concept behind decentralized finance and link?
It's the same audio that I played in my bVoice dashboard. And then you can add different episodes within this podcast, so it can be more than one if you want. Now you also have audio inserts, and this is pretty interesting. So if you really get into podcasting and if you get really good at it and you have a huge subscriber list that listens to it all the time, you can add these audio inserts in between the podcast or in during them and use them as like ads. So you can charge for someone to place their ad within your podcast. You also have here your website. If you want to set up your own website for this, you do have to update your DNS CNAME, but you don't have to do this. This is optional. But you can also add Google Analytics ID tracking, Facebook Pixel ID. You have your social accounts that you can add here, and this is going to come in. I'll show you here in a minute because all this shows up on your actual podcast page. For directories, it says after you've manually submitted your podcast to Apple Podcasts, we can automatically submit it to many other directories, which should take 2 to 3 business days before it appears. And so you can mark it here. And so once you have it submitted to Apple Podcasts, you're going to select it here. And then it says links to your podcast on services and directories. You're going to paste those in here and save, and then it's going to automatically syndicate those out to other podcast services, so where people can hear it. And then you have your analytics here where you can view every time somebody watches it or listens to it. But really, that's what this is. Now, once you save it, it's going to give you some links here. It's going to give you an RSS feed that you can submit. And then it's also going to give you your own bCast hosted website URL. So what we can do is we can copy this and go to it. And you can see this is going to be your page that's going to have all of your podcasts on it. So if you have more than one, it's going to show them down through here. It's going to have the images. It's going to have your links up here that you have for your social sites if you add them, for your RSS, for your website. And if you have it set up to for an email autoresponder or email subscription service, that will also be here, so where they can just put in their email and subscribe, and you can also grow your email list. So if you're into podcasting, this is an ideal tool to use, but I do recommend that if you create your podcast by using content from here, remember that when you choose your content, you always use Creative Commons, so you're not going to have any legal issues. When you go to bVoice, I recommend that you always use the Microsoft options because it sounds much more human-like than the other ones. And then when you set it up on bCast, it should only take you about 10 to 15 minutes to get all that set up and submitted, and you can actually start your own podcasting service for yourself, for your clients, or even offering the services online through like Upwork, Fiverr, or something like that, where people just want to distribute their own content. But that is how the bCast suite works. You're getting 3 software products in one. Let me quickly go over the upsells because I know this has been a long video so far. So if we jump into here, you're going to have the option between the bCast suite front-end personal or the commercial. The difference between the two, I believe, is going to be about $20. I think one of them is going to start off around $77, then go to $97. Or it's going to be $67 and $77. I know for when they first launched, there's going to be like some kind of a special going on you can check those details below this video in the description box. But you're going to get one podcast, everything that I showed you. But if you get the commercial version, you're going to be able to create three podcasts instead of one. The unlimited is what I was talking about that you should definitely pick up if you want to really do this. It is expensive. I think it's going to be $197 one time or like $197 annually. Those prices, they can change, so I recommend that you check their website for those updates, and I'll also list the current prices in the description box below. And then you have these are optional, so if you want to have your own done-for-you business website, lead finder agreements, promotional material, you can pick up the business side of it. And then also for the white label version, if you want to have your own custom domains, use your own logo and deliver as a branded service, you can do that too. But I would highly recommend the unlimited version because you're going to get so much more out of it. This is the pricing as of right now. The front end $77, the commercial $97, and then the upsell $197 yearly, but I'm thinking that there may be a one-time option when it first launches for $197 also. Don't hold me to that, but I'm thinking that I saw that. The business is $67, the white label is $197, then there's also something called a pod reel for $67 one time, and that here allows you to upload MP3 files up to 100 megabytes, resize, trim, just different things you can do that you can see here also. So this is it, guys. This is bCast Suite. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, like the video, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave them below, and I will try to get to those as soon as I can. Thanks.